But there's something else about them. Because the rise of that idea that we're moving irreversibly from an industrial to an information economy coincides exactly with the rise of the internet. And so you have this new orthodoxy emerging in what's come to be called creative industry studies, which rejects the kind of political economy emphasis on the concentration of power and the way that works, and proposes instead, here's a quotation from a recent book, that we're moving from what's called a closed expert value chain controlled by industry. Notice how industry is now in brackets. Whenever you want to cast aspersions on something, you put commas around it. Like, well, you guys call it industry, but I mean, it's not really, is it? I mean, look, it's provisional. So whenever you see commas, you know that this is a negative use of the term. So the idea is that the creation of value is no longer controlled by industry, but it's a complex open system in which everyone is an active agent. We're all. I mean, I'm as powerful as Rupert Murdock. I mean, we're all powerful. That's a very dangerous idea. If you really believe that, then, you should think very carefully. But in the same book, after this enormous peroration about these active spaces in which what happens in teenage bedrooms is as important as what happens in the boardrooms of the great companies, you have this sentence: individuals originate ideas, networks adopt them, enterprises retain them. Yes. So you may be inventing like crazy, but you're not going to own the innovations that you create. Let's see how this works. Let me give you some examples. This is a very well-known video game, Battlefield 1942. But very often what's happening is simply an extension of what's been going on for a long time. There's an extension to Battlefield 1942, which is called Homefront, which is something that's been put together by a group of enthusiasts who wanted to have a particular kind of version of the Second World War. Now, if the company had designed that themselves, it would have cost them in the region of $500,000. This has been given away for free. Now, it also does two other things for the company. It revivifies interest in the game. It provides a bit of extra novelty, but it also talks it up so that all these enthusiasts on their web pages and so on are talking up the game. So it prolongs its shelf life. All of this for nothing from the company's point of view. So they're getting enormous benefits in research and development for absolutely no payment at all. Now, the motivations of these guys are, they're hobbyists, they're nerds. So what they're concerned about is their reputation amongst people like themselves. So for them, the reward is getting it right, making it look good, other people that they respect saying, hey, you did a good job there, that was terrific. So they get symbolic rewards, but they don't get monetary rewards. So this is ideal for the company because they're never challenged about the distribution of rewards. Another classic example is customization. That's been going on for a long time, particularly with custom cars. But there are a number of websites now of kids who customize. These are actually, I put these in for you, these are Nike shoes. There's a website called Nike Talk where you can actually find out how to change the appearance of your standard Nike shoes. And you can alter the appearance. But what happens if we go back up the value chain? What happens? It's relatively easy to tinker with a product, to customize it, to make it look a little bit different. What happens if you intervene in the production process? Well, here's a very example. Fluvog's a high-end footwear manufacturer, and they have something called open source footwear. We'll come back to what open source really means in a minute, but this is a quote from there. They invite people to send in designs for new shoes. Your ideas could become actual shoes. open source footwear works like open source software. Actually, it doesn't, but anyone can contribute, and the best ideas get real recognition. Notice that's what you get. You're getting recognition, not getting any money. Nobody gets paid for designs because nobody owns them. Your designs become public domain, freely available to all. We might use the whole thing or only a part. This keeps everything fair. A strange definition of fairness. Having said that, if you're chosen, we'll send you a free pair. And here's a lucky recipient, Zaza, holding the shoe that she designed. This is all she's got for her trouble. They did originally promise that they would put the designer's name on the shoe, but they've decided not to do that. So here you have a kind of collusion. Now, something very interesting is going on here. Those of you who want to make careers in the creative industries, this coincides with quite an important shift in the organisation of a lot of the creative industries. They're becoming radically casualised. There are virtually no permanent jobs anywhere in the creative industries. People are hired project by project. There's massive outsourcing. Lots of functions that used to be done in-house are farmed out. So what you see here is a kind of symbiotic relationship between people who are wanting to get into the creative industries and who think this might be a shop window, get them known, and companies who are capitalising on that because they know that there's an oversupply of very talented people from art schools and departments who will do this for nothing, simply on the off chance that one day someone will notice them, that one day their prints will come. And so the nature of the creative industries requires this voluntary donation. It's becoming built into the way the system works. Here's another example. You probably know that the Smash the Super Bowl series where Doritos have been inviting people to make advertisements, and then the best of them will be shown in the Super Bowl. It began in 2007. This is very interesting. We saw this year how technology is helping consumers create things to the point where you don't know what's consumer generated and what's not. It's also very important. The winning entry was done on an Apple Mac with bog standard software, the sort of software that you've all got on your machine. So it costs nothing. It costs something like $45. That's considerably less than a high-end professional advertisement. And it was successful. But there's something else about that one of the things that companies are very concerned about now is that they've lost trust. That they no longer can command the same kind of loyalty. People are not branding themselves in the same kind of way as they used to. So what's good about these is not only that they're incredibly cheap, but although they're made with good software, there's still a bit of roughness, a bit of rawness about them. And that gives them a kind of streetwise credibility that the professionals find it difficult to do. So the company's getting credibility. It's getting this reputation for being right down there on the street, being fun, not just having cheap